let's get to your upbringing, man. Like, where exactly are you from? How was it growing up? You know what I'm saying? Your mom's was there, your dad was there. Just, what else did you do before you decided to be, a lawyer and stuff like that?
So I actually had a very interesting upbringing. I was born in Nigeria in an area called Mushin, and
Mm,
that's like on the mainland. And
yeah.
Mushin is like, Mushin ain't for everybody. I'll just say that, you know. And when I tell a lot of people like where I was actually born and where I grew up in Nigeria, they always look at me like, what? Because they always look at me
What is
like,
that?
Bolaji's like this posh guy, like, like how could he come out of these slums? Like that's not possible. And they start thinking about, like people that they know that are from there, and it's not. I'll just say this: it's like people can say like, oh, if you make a lot of people don't make it out of this certain place, but in Mushin, like people don't make it out of Mushin and come all the way to
Yeah,
America and start doing a
yeah.
lot. But it's the craziest story. Like my mom won like a visa lottery in Nigeria, so her and my pops actually moved to America, and they left me and my older sister in Nigeria. So I was like 2 when my parents moved to America.
Yeah.
And then I spent 2 years old till 10 with my grandparents. So my grandparents actually raised us in Nigeria. Then we finally came to America, and then I went from one hood to another. Grew up in Alief. Shout out to everybody from Alief. Like Alief is always gonna be a big part of me. Like I was in Alief when like I pledged for the Africans in Alief today, because we were in the era of the African booty scratchers. Like, man, it was serious in Alief. Like, they had so many jokes, and the thing is, I was so not culturally integrated in American culture. I didn't even. So it took like me getting to like high school and college when I started watching like stand-up comedies. I started watching Fridays, of course, because my African parents did not let us engage in anything like that growing up. So when I started seeing those things, and I was like, man, I always thought these guys were just genuinely funny. Like, these are all stand-up jokes that they've been throwing at me. And I was like, I've been thinking like, damn, their content is crazy. So it's like growing up in Alief was definitely like interesting. So I went through every grade level in Alief. I was an athlete in Alief. I would say like that's where I learned to become American in Alief. And at that point, that's when I linked up with my brother Toby, and ended up being linked up with Maxo. And from there, so that's like senior year of high school. So from that point, it was like we started kind of just being full-fledged integrated into like what we'll call like the culture, because Maxo kind of started his music thing, around like my freshman year of college, like senior year of high school, so that's kind of like when, like my introduction into the music world, was like through Maxo, and watching my brother Toby manage Maxo, and everybody else that played a part in it, Dume, and everyone else that was around, So that's kind of how, I'll say that's my upbringing, So before being a lawyer, like what was I doing? I was hustling, selling candy in high school. Me and my quarterback Ricardo, we had a crazy system. We would like freeze the candy overnight so that we could sell it all day and it would never melt. So it was like we were doing that. Like we had people at other high schools selling candy for us. So we were already on our business. We had like a business mind.
BMF type
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly. BMF. Without the RICO charge, So we were going crazy, doing that. And then like being with Cream, like we were really selling like a lot of sneakers, like we were really big on like, buying sneakers, flipping sneakers. Like I remember like the first pair of sneakers that I ever truly felt like, man, I just did a real hustle. I think they were like the Cement 3s or the True Blue 3s, And I just would never just forget like the feeling of like, making that profit, back then. That was so big to me, And I was like, man, it was like an addicting feeling, It's like I still smell the sneakers till today, like the fresh smell of the shoes, like damn. It's like not only did I get to like have these shoes, but I also got to make some money from the shoes. So it's definitely something that it's crazy. It's a nostalgic feeling that just never left me, And I've done like a whole bunch of different type of, I guess, like quote unquote hustles like throughout the year. Like something crazy that you probably didn't know. Actually had a fragrance collection at a point. Yeah. So while I was in college, one of my banker at Chase, he was into like fragrances, and he just kind of came to me and was like, hey, like you seem like you're kind of like financially savvy, like I would see you coming in here like you're on your business, you're on your business tip, like yo, like is this something that would interest you? So I ended up like getting into the venture with him. Like we had like the company that creates Creed out in China, like they were creating, or is it China, like some Asian country, like they were create like their facilities were the same facilities where we had like creating our bottles, like bottling our scent and everything. So it was kind of crazy, It was kind of crazy. So that's one of the different things that I did like before I became a lawyer.
You always been a hustler, like I said before. Like your occupation to me is everything because I feel like you legit was like hands-on with like a lot of different stuff. You know what I'm saying? So like, I didn't know you had your own cologne. Is it still going on to today?
Nah, it's actually not going on to today. Like me and my business partner at that point, we kind of had like a little falling out, But it is what it is, So I just kind of left that venture, I'm a firm believer in, not overexerting yourself in certain situations. It's kind of like my sports dream. Like I was a big athlete, like in high school. I went to college to play ball. When I saw that after I got to college that I wasn't going to play, like it became like clear to me that hey, you're never gonna play.
That's one thing too.